Salutations and good morning. Welcome to Basic Public Speaking. I'm Christy Thomas. I'm your professor instructor for this course, and this is the weekly chat for week 2. Week 2 dates are August the 24th through the 28th. Kudos and congratulations for surviving the first week. Before we continue, I just want to say that I will update the gradebook this week from your check-in questionnaire for attendance and all the fun things. With that being said, let's get into it, shall we? Like I said, this is week 2's video chat. Those dates are August the 24th through the 28th. You do have something to do at the end of this week. We'll discuss it more here in a bit. But let's go ahead and talk about this week's lessons. As previously stated during the introduction, week 1, all the fun stuff from last week, I have the first 3 weeks of lessons and assignments already open for your viewing pleasure, just so you can kind of see how I set up Blackboard and just kind of help you with navigational terms. With that being said, this week's modules for lessons are speech genres, informative speaking, and the foundations module. So speech genres, that module dives deeper in just discussing the basis of speech genres themselves. And just like film or television, music, literature, genres give us an idea of what we are getting ready to witness. Comedy, horror, rom-com, documentary, these type of styles, country, R&B, Latin, pop. Again, all this is telling us what we're getting ready to experience. The same happens with public speaking. We, in this course, will discuss in depth 3 genres: informative, persuasive, and celebratory, which we are going to get into informative this week as well. So the speech genre modules, it really just kind of opens up and gives you, an idea, and then the difference, because I'll also discuss this throughout this course. I have what I call gray areas between like informative and persuasive, informative and celebratory, and I talk about those more in depth in those lessons, so just kind of be aware of that as well. All these modules have Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, video lessons, and publisher PDFs, and some of them may have supplemental videos from communication scholars. So just be aware of that. The video lessons, I tend to record those. I have recorded those previously, so just be aware of that as well. So if there's something about a due date, ignore it. The only thing you have to worry about when it comes to due dates is what's on the main Blackboard page and weekly videos. Okay, so the speech genre one, again, it kind of just gives us the foundations of the genres we will be discussing in this course. And then informative speaking. This is the deep dive into the first genre of this course. And for the most part, almost a majority of public speaking, especially in your educational journey, is on the informative side. And it's just that. You're just informing someone of something. So if you think of book reports you may have done in the past, this falls in that jurisdiction. And depending on the formality of the speaking, so, there's formal and informal, and I discuss this more throughout the course, but formal, think of it more as what you will do in a presentation, or if you're attending a speech, or, there's someone speaking in front of a large group. Informal is more one-on-one, small group communication, but it also falls under the public speaking world. That's why this class is happening. So, again, informative speaking, it just dives deep into it. I'm buffering with my words at the moment. It just kind of dives deep into informative speaking. And again, you're just telling someone how something works, how to get somewhere, how to do that. As long as you're not trying to deter someone's ideas, it's informative. And I'll discuss that more as we break down the differences between informative and persuasive. Your first 2, possibly 3 main speeches are informative speeches. Dive deeper into that in a second. Your first main speech, which is due at the end of week 3, which is the end of next week, it's informative, but I give you topic, genre, and I give you criteria. I give you 5 speaking points, so be aware of that. And then the second main speech is an informative how-to. This is where you're telling us how something works, how to create, how to make, how to do, how to. And then the third one is kind of a choose your own adventure, but it falls under informative / celebratory and really emphasizes the storytelling aspects of public speaking. Okay, so those are those genres. And then the foundations genre, it just discusses the why and also discusses a lot of folks have anxiety or fears of public speaking, and that's fine, and that's completely natural, and we just kind of break it down a little bit more. Also, then I've included a Word document of the history of public speaking, kind of just the evolution from the founding fathers, which are your Greek and Roman gentlemen. You'll hear me say the names Plato, Cicero, Aristotle, and Gorgias a lot, especially Aristotle. He really packed down the foundation that we continue to use today, just with updated terminology and ideology. For that, go forth. So those are the lessons for this week. You have speech genres, informative speaking, and speech foundations. So look those over. Now, you do have an assignment due this week. This is the Cannon's Rhetoric Round 1 questionnaire. I had you look over the rhetoric last week, but it's still open because remember, lesson modules, we do not close those. Once they are open, they remain open for the entirety of the course. The only thing that may close are weekly videos. I keep everything up just so that it's accessibility and you can always look back and go, okay, this is what's due. So for the Cannon's Rhetoric Questionnaire Round 1, in that module is Word documents breaking down the Cannon's Rhetoric of public speaking, but I've also, and there's also a video chat, but I also included discussions of the importance of oral citation, and we do have a lesson just over oral citation, and great examples of that is news broadcasters. Then I also included the types of speeches, like they're spontaneous and memorized and all that. I included that as well. But the questionnaire, there is no right or wrong answers to this questionnaire. We will do this questionnaire, exact same questions, now and at the end of the course. The beginning of the course, you can kind of look over this module and then answer what you think these could be. Again, these are not right or wrong. This is a gauge thing for me. This is to see what maybe I need to build upon, what's working, what's not working, all the good things. And at the end of the course, we'll take what you've learned from these lessons and apply it to the questions. So it's kind of, again, a gauge thing for me. There are no right or wrong answers, so do not fret. With that being said, I'm also going to discuss what's due at the end of week 3. Your first main speech is due at the end of week 3. This is an informative speech, and it's just an introduction speech. You are introducing yourself to me. I'm going to break down the discussion criteria now. So, before I move forward, due at the end of week 2, so due by Friday, August the 28th by 5 o'clock, is the Cannon's Rhetoric Round 1. There are no right or wrong answers. It's just tell me what you think it could be. Then due at the end of week 3, which I believe is September 4th. Let me double check that. Yes, due Friday, September 4th by 5 p.m. is your first main speech. It has a module, like all lessons and all speeches. Assignments have their own module, have their own little homes, if you would. In there is a Word document and a video chat of me discussing the requirements, the description, the criteria. And then in the module, there's also a link for you to upload your final version of your speech. Because this is an online public speaking course, I must see you in the video. As you see me in these lesson videos or any video that I submit to you from about shoulder up. And also kind of be aware of the lighting. You know, you don't want to record a video in a completely dark room where I cannot see you. So just kind of be aware of these things as you're going to record all the fun things. So back to the criteria for this main speech 1. There is no outline due. There's nothing due except the video itself. I will never ask for a transcript. The difference between an outline and a transcript is an outline is just basic main points that you're speaking, and a transcript is a word for word verbatim of what you are saying. I will never ask for a transcript in this course. So let's just get that out of the way. There's no outline due, and there's no time limit minimum. I always try to put minimums on main speeches. This one has none. This is just you introducing yourself to me because I am your audience, and just figuring out the whole online speaking world in the realm of technology. The criteria. There are 5 criteria speaking points for this. Let's talk about them. The first one, introduce yourself. How your name appears on my roster, and if you have something you prefer to go by, include that as well. Fabulous. Speaking point number 2, future. Now, perhaps you are seeking a specific degree. Excellent. I want to hear about that. Perhaps there is a dream institution you would love to attend school. I want to hear about that. Or you could even discuss what a dream job was to you when you were younger. Perhaps you wanted to grow up and be a singer or an actress, or you wanted to go to the moon. I don't know. Tell me that. Or if there were no obstacles such as money or time or any kind of restraints, what would be the perfect job for you? Perhaps you want to explore all the beaches in the world. You want to backpack through Europe. You know, when I was younger, I had aspirations of being an archaeologist, and then I thought I was going to discover Atlantis. I don't know. Fun times. So, 1, introduce yourself. 2, just discuss future endeavors. This could be the career path you're on, the educational journey you're on, a dream path or journey. You know, perhaps you're going to go to this school, but if distance and time and money were not of, perhaps you want to go to this school because it has the best program in all the world for what you're seeking, you know. Perhaps you're going into marine biology and there's a school in Florida that is the best of the best. You see where I'm going with here. Okay. The third speaking topic is something commonly known. Now, this is what I mean by this. It's something everyone knows about you. Perhaps it's an organization you've been in, or a sport, extracurricular, or something that you do that everyone knows about. Perhaps everyone knows that you're an artist, or, you know, you've played football since you could walk, or you're really good at basketball, or, you know, you always sing at talent shows, or things like, you know what I'm saying, things commonly known about you that everyone knows. The 4th speaking point is something not commonly known. Now, please only share what you are comfortable sharing, and I am not asking for your deepest, darkest secrets here. So let's get that taken care of as well. What I mean by this is something that people know, but they maybe don't know it until they get to know you. Perhaps you're an avid reader, and not everyone knows that unless they really hang out with you. Or perhaps you're into rebuilding cars, and that's something not everyone knows unless they really get to know you. See what I'm going with here? Perhaps you love to make, you know, play in the kitchen, cook or bake, whatever the case may be here. And that's not something commonly known. And then finally, what brings you joy? What brings a smile to you? What brings a calm amongst the chaos in your world? Do you just like to take a minute to decompress somewhere? Do you enjoy, you know, maybe going to amusement parks is what brings you joy or calmness, or just listening to music, whatever the case may be here. That's what you wrap it up with. So the criteria for this first main speech, which is due at the end of next week, is introduce yourself, future endeavors, something commonly known, something not commonly known, and what brings you joy. But only share what you are comfortable with sharing. I will never ask you to share anything that makes you uncomfortable. And please do not share deep, dark secrets here. So let's recap. Week 2's lessons are, you know, there's a few bundled in this world. Speech genres, this is where we're just you're being introduced to the genres we're going to talk about in this course. Then we're going to deep dive with informative speaking. And then I've also thrown foundations in there just because it kind of just gives you some variations on, you know, the whys we do, why we take the public speaking, why it's important, why this or that, and just some other background information. But I will discuss all that throughout the course as well. Due at the end of week 2, so due Friday, due Friday, August 28th by 5 o'clock is the Canon's Rhetoric Round 1 questionnaire. There are no right or wrong answers, just answer what you think it may be. And then do end of week 3, which is Friday, September the 4th by 5 o'clock, is your first main speech. It has its own module. If you have, I will also have the grade book updated as well. But again, these first few weeks, we're chilled. We're not intense because we're learning navigation, so never fret. And if you've submitted something to me, and this goes throughout the entire course, and I'll repeat this. If you've submitted your work, but it's not reflecting it on Blackboard, all that means is that I have not gone in and updated Blackboard's gradebook, because I set due dates and times on Blackboard. So if I don't immediately go in there, it sometimes reflects as not turned into 0. So, but if you have, never fret. It will change. I will update it. And I'm usually good about getting it updated. I always say at least 1 working week, but I try to get it done before then, unless something comes up. So with all that being said, I hope your first week was not too chaotic and chilled, and you're getting some confidence about this course. If you have any questions or concerns, or just need some clarification, or just need to chat, please reach out to me. Email me. I love to hear from you. With that being said, I hope you have a fabulous week and a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.